Maude full screen. Hi, what's up? Welcome everyone, Maude's Book Club. We do really, really fun things on Maude's Book Club, and I'm lucky enough from time to time to get to interview the authors that we have when we cover the books for the club, or books that I cannot stop yapping about, not only here but on socials. Now, this is a reunion of sorts, I would say. I last interviewed our guest 10 years ago, which is impossible because how is the age aging? Weird.
I mean, you haven't aged a day.
Oh, you're so sweet. Guys, give it up for Veronica Roth in the house, to not only to talk about the new Curse Bearer saga that is happening, that I have just demolished, but an entire career spanning so long. Veronica, how are you today? How's your spooky mug?
My spooky mug is good.
He's so cute.
Yes. I threw out my back yesterday. I'm a little better now, but my husband brought this home.
Did you do it sneezing, or was that just me?
No, I was washing my hands. Is that better?
I feel there is a list of the most mundane shit that you can do to hurt your back when you're in your 30s, and here we are. We're ticking them off one by one. I ruptured a disc.
Oh, by sneezing?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
I still can't feel my left foot a year and a half later. Fun fact.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's bad.
Well, you thought you were doing Maude's Book Club today, but welcome to 30s complaining hour.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
It's kind of funny. I had a segment for you called The Wrath of Roth, where it was just Vent City. What would you like to get angry about? But we've already gotten started on that one. That's fun.
Yeah. It's dangerous.
I also do really want to talk about the books, but upon my research, you in every single interview have mentioned Breath of the Wild.
Have I?
Pretty much.
Good for me.
Pretty much. So I'm like, yes, the books is very, very important, but let's nerd out for a second. What video games are you playing at the moment, if any?
I'm deep in Horizon Zero Dawn right now.
That's a slippery slope as well. Like, that's one that you could sink hours into.
And I have, yeah, because this past weekend, so by the time I finally got home, I was like traveling and then had to make sure it wasn't COVID, and then I got home and I just started Horizon Zero Dawn and haven't stopped.
What are we playing that one on? Is it PC? Is it console?
It's PS5, yeah.
Oh, that's exclusive on that one, isn't it? I wanted to show you, I have where's my camera for you? That is a Triforce tattoo on the finger.
Oh, wow.
So when you mentioned something like Breath of the Wild, piques my interest. You also mentioned playing Mass Effect, and yeah, you like Mass Effect?
Year.
Is it? Do you do it really every single year?
Every 2 years, I would say. Like, I need to give myself enough time to forget a little bit. I'm back.
I have comfort foods like that, including Buffy is every 4 years. It takes me 4 years to forget Buffy, but I do that series as well. Have you done your Renegade run through of Mass Effect, and how much did it hurt your soul?
No, I haven't, because I always get to the part with the, what are the arachnids called again? I'm due to play. But, the Ragni. Yeah, I get to that part and I'm like, I can't do it. Because you have to kill them.
You have don't you have to eradicate like the entire...
You have to commit genocide to be a renegade in Mass Effect. Yeah, I don't know. And also she's just like a mean baby. So I'm kind of, it's hard for me. Maybe if I play as like the man
dude
shepherd, I'll be a little more separated from it.
That's actually a really good idea. I do love playing FemShep though.
I know. Her voice is wonderful.
Jennifer Hale, shout out. She's kick-ass. Another comfort game that I especially went back to during COVID, and the fact that it relaxed me really says something, but Witcher 3. And I know
I just finished that. Oh,
you did? You finished it, you badass? How was that? How many hours?
Oh, I don't know. It was less than 100.
That's actually not bad.
Yeah. I'm not a completionist. You know, I do side quests until they start to feel tedious, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta go. But I haven't finished the Blood and Wine expansion yet, so we'll see.
I don't think I have. I don't think I have either.
It's like Fantasy France, and it's very funny.
Oh, okay. Then I definitely haven't. Out of all the magic that you can unlock in Witcher, which one was your favorite?
Fire.
I was going to say, and why is it fire? Yes, Igni.
I just love I love setting fictional things on fire, and you know, this is like a thing I've learned about myself. I think it stems from SimCity 2000 because my whole thing about that game was build up the city and then burn it down. That was like it's all I ever did as a child. So now I think I just love the fire powers always.
Was it the meteor? You'd get the meteor in and it would just decimate?
No, you could like cause fires.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking like big scale, because there was like one of them you could unlock like meteor.
Yes, there was like a Godzilla. There was earthquake. Oh, the earthquake would cause fire.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. There it is. KP Dub says, yes, SimCity was great. You could also release Kaiju.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, that game.
I know. Memories. And Vaden says, do the DLCs for Witcher 3. It's totally worth it. Fantastic. Oh, Space Cowboy says, so many good games mentioned in these short 6 minutes. Wowie. I did just want to scratch that itch, because you do name drop a lot of video games, and I've pretty much played all the ones that you have mentioned. And I also learned that you are 6 feet tall. As a 5'11", baby. I'm just,
Whoa. I'm
know.
sure we talked about it when we met the first time, because anytime I see a tall lady, I'm like,
oh, she's tall. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm like, oh, yay, you get this. And you also know what the world looks like from this height as well, which is seeing the world very, very differently. Big shout outs to everyone dropping subs. Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, KP Dubs. Thank you, Catch22, for renewing all those subs. And thanks to Gabrielle, the writer, for following along for this one as well. So with all that to say, I did kind of piece together that the success of Witcher 3 was perfect to kind of like get the landscape for this, because people do want to learn about Slavic mythology. How easy was it for this idea to be born?
It was the easiest idea ever, in that I wasn't supposed to be writing it when I started writing it. So I had pitched a totally different concept to my editor. It was like an Oedipus retelling in space without incest, which is hard to do. And I was all set to write it. And then I just something came over me like a fever. It was just like, okay, I have to write this instead. So
did you have a dream? I know a lot of books are spawned from actually having dreams.
No, that would require that I'm a better sleeper than I am, and I am an insomniac.
Hey!
So I barely ever dream.
We got that in common too.
Yeah.
Cool.
And it's even harder in this world that we live in now. But yeah, so I think I just had an instinct about Dimitar, the lead character. I was like, this is a man on a mission, and it's a bummer of a mission, man.
That explains his broody outlook.
Yeah, so I was like, it's a revenge quest. Oh, wait. Which it is, just not in the way you'd think.
Now, I want to kind of dance around some spoilers just initially until we go full spoiler drop. But what I loved about the take on this one is The Witcher is a monster hunter. And you've kind of flipped the script on monsters being and staying monsters in this. What was it like to kind of shift the narrative on monster hunting?
I think it felt like kind of natural to the monster subgenre. Since Frankenstein, the big question of those books is like, who's the monster really? So I think it felt natural. It was just, and also I like to build a system, like a cult or an organization or a government or whatever. And then I think, due to my dystopian roots, I just have to expose the corruption in the system. So this was like a way to do that, I think, with the monster hunters.
Did I learn correctly that you were doing Bible studies when you were younger, and that was like something that followed through?
Yeah, I did. I was very involved in like youth group and stuff growing up. And, I think it's pretty understandable as you get older to see some of the problems in the like organized religion of it all. And it's never been more obvious than it is now. So I don't know. It feels like something that needs to be explored, especially by someone who knows a lot about it.
I mean, you're better than me at that one, because I guess I don't know enough about religion except the witnessing it being weaponized over and over again, especially this century. And I guess my question about that was tying in, because there's a lot of mythology here, but then tying in the order of the knights with God.
Yeah, well, I think, we've seen countless times throughout history that people use religious rhetoric to justify their behavior. So it really says nothing. It says less about the like actual religion and more about the people who are making use of it. And like, it's just so, I mean, it's like the air we breathe in this country is people weaponizing religious language to justify horrors. So I think it just feels like, you know, it's like something I'm breathing. I'm breathing it in and I'm breathing it out.
Now, you said that your editors gave you the note for more violence, more bloodiness when writing this
just
book.
Bloodiness,
not necessarily violence, but I feel like they almost go hand in hand in this.
Yeah.
What were the points in the book where you really wanted to distort the order to be seen in a negative light?
Well, I think, so she was encouraging me not to flinch away from the violence that was already there. So I just want to say, for my editor, she wasn't like, yeah, guts. She was like, don't be afraid to let this like lean into horror a little bit, which was a good note.
And body horror as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. That's a new one for me.
I was about to say it. That's new. That's definitely like reaching into and under the skin to extract a blade. Like, that's juicy. Happy October 1st.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's kind of gross. But to your question, I think the best like exposure of the Holy Order is just to Dimitar himself. So just the more I explored his psychology, the more things started to unravel, especially like when he talks about his relationship with his grandmother. The challenge is always, and this is especially true in the sequel, to show like how it could be possible for someone looking from one vantage point to see this relationship as like meaningful and wonderful. And from the other vantage point, once he's had some revelations about how abusive that dynamic was, to be like, no, this is horrible and manipulative. So that was tricky.
And it's absolutely coincidental that the Polish heritage is on your maternal side.
Yeah.
Okay. I loved hearing about your discovery and sort of permission that you've granted yourself to explore your heritage here. How was it sort of not being raised with sort of a Polish culture and then diving into it and then going even further than that and like discovering the mythology behind it all?
I think it's just, giving yourself permission is sort of the hardest part at first, because I just felt like such an imposter, like looking into it, even telling people that, I'm part Polish is just like such a dumb American thing, that people do abroad, like, well, I'm 3/4 like Irish or whatever. So I think I was kind of wary of it. And I tried to I knew that I couldn't do it perfectly. And I think the key is just to be humble in accepting feedback from people who are actually from the culture that you're writing about. So not trying to lay claim to all of it, but just doing your best to research and be careful. And then, to acknowledge when it's not quite right. Like, I think, I'm learning as I go. I got a sensitivity reader. I had one for the first one, but I got one I could work more closely with for the second installment. And she humbled me a little bit, but that was good. Yeah.
What did you get to learn that you didn't know before?
Well, she was like, the way you've pluralized these words is like not good. Like, it doesn't make any sense and it's inconsistent. And I was like, okay. And then she just, it's like about the food, about like the funeral practices that are explored in the second one, about naming in Poland. Like, so you have to have a Polish name in Poland. You can't name your child like a name from a different language. I didn't know that. These are things you don't think to look up. So I learned a lot from her.
What do you mean you have to have a Polish name and you can't? Tell me more about that.
Yeah. So like your government name has to be Polish.
Oh.
Yeah. So you can have like a nickname or whatever, but whatever is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Got to be. Mm-hmm. Like in France, they have something similar. It's like there's a list of like acceptable. Last time I checked, this was in French class in high school, so that's a long time ago. But yeah.
I have a French name. I'm not French. I'm not even a little French. It doesn't go back in my family. France, I'm sorry, and I'm not even doing a good job having it either. So suck on that. I've realized that in Australia I'm Maude. In America I'm Maude.
Maude.
And then in French, it's Maude, and in Spanish, it's Maude. So take your pick on that one. KP Dub says, a big Polish ethnicity here in my hometown. Lots of consonants, not many vowels.
That's true.
That is very true, especially, and I both read the book and listened to them as well, because I read them first. There are a few words in there that my eyes sort of glaze over because it can't quite extrapolate the word together. But I thought
the hardest one is razor, brzytwa.
And there's that one, BWITZ. Yeah. I saw that and I was like, good luck, Maude. Vitsa. One more time.
Brzytwa.
I wasn't close. I feel like this is turning into a Polish lesson.
We could stop here. I'm certainly not qualified to teach you anything about Polish. But.
Well, I'm not sure if you know this. In the audiobook, you have many different narrators in that one because you split between many different points of views. And I think 3 out of 4 of them had different pronunciations for Demeter.
They did their best. Yeah. So for the Tekotcha Razor, we brought in a dialect coach who is actually the voice of Elsa. So whatever she says is correct, but it's hard to give a performance that's not self-conscious and get everything exactly correct. But I do think they made big improvements with the second one. So I'm proud of them. It's not easy.
They brought it to life. They did an incredible job. And to say these words with such fluidity as well, like in a natural conversing sort of way. How would you say, and how did I go with Demeter?
I would say Demeter. Yeah. I can't say it exactly right.
That's all right.
But the emphasis on the dim is good.
Not Demeter.
Yeah. Although I sometimes lapse into saying that too, because that's how we'd say it here.
Both can be right. I like this. No wrong answers. Some of the creatures, we've got the Striga.
Yeah. Pretty good. Striga. Yeah.
Striga. Mm-hmm. Which they did sort of tone down in The Witcher because it was one of the creatures that was killed and hunted in that. And it was, I think, just Striga there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Help me.
Laura?
Yep. Oh, well, let me say it so fluently like that. That sounds lovely. The half-spirit, the Jewish half-spirit.
Oh, the Dybbuk.
Dybbuk. Liked that one. And then the vampire-esque creatures. I mean, they're technically all vampire-esque, aren't they?
Yes, they are. But it's a Viesha. Viesha? Yeah. That's
the one that I had the most trouble with. Look at you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for helping me with all of those. And I'll put this together in a nice little how-to in a clip. So when you go into reading this one head first, you will not go unprepared. It is dangerous to go alone, so take this with you. That's a Zelda reference.
That's a pretty good wink.
Really? Because I've never been you don't know this about me. I can't wink.
I feel like you got there.
Chat, did I get there? Wink on point. Shut the front door. I could almost burst into tears in this particular second. When writing this book, I was going in on deep dive with how you do write books, and world building is not up the first and front foremost thing that you love diving into, but it's characters. What is it about the characters that you had established that helped with your world building process?
Well, I mean, once I had Demeter and he's I think the cover designer calls him the saddest man who ever lived, or the cover artist, Eleanor Patira. And I'm on board. Yeah, look at him. He's so sad.
He's sad
so
boy.
Sad. Yes, but once I figured out, what his deal was, I think building the knights was the most important part of where it started. It's like, well, we have to define their limits, and then picking the creatures that our other characters would be was part of the world building. So it just kind of unfolds through a series of choices. Sometimes I just pick my favorites. I think writers feel like they have to have this really grand reason for why they decide certain things, but really you have to fill your story with things that you love. So I like Striga's best. So
We got a bunch of them. And I feel like Nico is a character that we haven't really seen so much, this type of person in your books thus far, as a bit of an arrogant, cocky, I would call him, you know, the Han Solo almost of the book series. He's a bit of a scoundrel. How was it finding Nico?
I mean, it felt like a challenge, right? Because like you said, I don't write this kind of character very often or very naturally. My characters are very straightforward in general. They're good, they're bad, they're heroes, you know, in the like classic sense of the word. Maybe they're sad and angsty, but they're not like con men, you know? And this is one thing, I was just reading Book of Night by Holly Black, and like, she's probably the best at writing a con man that I've ever encountered in fantasy. So I am always trying to push the boundaries of my own, you know, I try not to always do the first thing, the easiest thing, the most comfortable thing. So with Nico, it's like, all right, let's see what we can do here.
I feel like you needed such balance as well. And I heard you describe this book as sort of like the Wizard of Oz. You're bringing these people together, and there's this dynamic where they're trying to all go on almost a quest together. But I do feel like with your Dorothy, Demeter is so like, this is a sad boy. This is a guy who is holding a lot of, not necessarily despair, but he's just he's very much a brooding, sad man. And so your sort of collective cast had to balance that out a little bit and bring very, very light and fluffy, not necessarily, there's no fluff in this, but these lighter, clearer moments with him so that he has that space to stay in that dark place. So how was it building out Ala and Nico to support Demeter?
Well, Ala's the hardest for me. In both installments, she's been really hard to figure out. I think, you know, she has a kind of like, she would
love that you can't figure her out because she's an illusionist.
Yes, yeah.
So the fact that you can't.
I think that's part of it. It's just she's so like removed and private and reserved in certain ways, and also like not having it, you know, any nonsense. And I think that played well with Demeter because, sorry, there I go again, saying it wrong. It played well with him because he needs someone to like poke at him, you know, because if you meet someone who's like an Eeyore of a person, like the people around them need to kind of tease them. I think it like helps draw them out. So it's a little like the dynamics that you see in real life, which sounds so obvious, but it's just like, if you've ever been part of a friend group where people poke at you and you like it, like this is the vibe of this book.
That's healthy.
These two characters. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I
in
feel
a loving way.
Yeah. And that's what you found, like you find with this trio quite quickly. I was learning that your novella style was so you can contain the story to sort of about a 24-hour period. Was there a version of this where you could have just kept writing and made it a fully fledged big book?
I think it couldn't have happened the first time. I feel like in order to discover this story, it had to be the novella because that was what I, you know, wanted it to be initially. But after that, I mean, containing To Clutch a Razor to novella, it's still too long to be a novella. So technically it's a short novel.
Oh no, not too long.
I know, but I could have gone farther, I think. So they're just easy to be with.
That's the novella. That's a little chunkier. I would love so many more of these, and I feel like you have opened this up to be a little episodic. I don't want to compare completely because it doesn't have as much in common, except there is a wizard in Chicago who has a long-standing series called the Dresden Files. And we're actually covering one of the books for October's Spooky Month with Maude's Book Club. And that's modern day as well. And when I was trying to compare the books, it's like it's Witcher 3 meets Dresden Files in a way for me. Would this be a long-standing episodic series? Should it get the love and attention it deserves?
Well, thank you. I think it could, because now with this, this recent installment, it's been set up like we've got 33 curses to break, right? So that's a lot of novellas, possibly. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. There's got to be at least one more. I feel like I have not sold it, so this is like really bold of me to say, but I left a couple things, a couple knots untied. So I would like to tie them.
I would like that as well. And I feel like you pack a lot into 160 odd pages in that first book, especially the relationship between the trio. You were saying that it's found family. I would argue that it's trauma bonding.
Oh, yeah. Well, can it be both?
It can. And I feel like the outcome of trauma bonding is a fast found family response from that. And you were struggling to think of an example in it. And even though we shouldn't keep giving a spotlight on the series, I will say I do not think the trio of Harry Potter would be as close as they were should they not have had the troll incident so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Because I do, if that troll incident never happened, I don't think that they would like Hermione as a person. I've said it. I feel lighter. I feel lighter. Mm. So that was my example of trauma bonding to create found family.
Well, my example of it is that I used to watch The Bachelor with my college roommates because they were really into it. And every time, so the first date that they have that puts them in peril is always, I'm like, he's going to pick her. And you know what? The 2 seasons I watched, that was true.
You were right. How did you get it?
Because, they go skydiving with one of the women, or they go scale a building or do something dangerous. And it's just like, they're trauma bonding.
That makes sense. They've gone through something extreme together and it brings them closer. You can't get that sipping champagne on a riverbed, can you? Oh.
No, you can't. I don't know if it's always, I feel like we need a study, to get.
No, we got one.
With an anecdotal data.
We got one. I don't like doing extreme things. I'm going to live my entire life not having skydived.
Skydive?
Guys, thank you. Oh, thank God you're the writer. And I'm okay with that. I think that there is a Venn diagram of Maude not being a thrill seeker and Maude being single, and it's a circle. God damn it. Okay. Veronica, you fucking ruined me.
Oh, boy.
That's a lot to unpack in this short time that we have. Well, I'm glad that we can get more out of this. I do have a question here from Katie. We get some audience submitted questions here. She says, I really enjoyed the start of the story when Among Crows. When writing for you, whose perspective is easier to get into between Allah's and Dimitar's? And I feel like we discussed that because you were struggling with Allah a little bit more. But how is it? How is it then getting into Dimitar? Because I have been speaking to you for 28 minutes and your sunny disposition would it's so contrasting.
Oh, yeah. Well, you haven't seen me, not on. So, I don't know if I'm that sunny in real life. I am. I don't find it hard to get into his perspective, but I usually use music to kind of like prompt the feeling of a character. So there's a song for Dimitar and for Nico. The Nico one is a little funny.
Yeah.
It's Bad Energy by Lily Is That You. It's like this very poppy, like sassy kind of song.
Yeah.
And Dimitar is like a sadder. I don't remember which one that was actually, but
he's not.
Oh, it was a song called Seafarer.
Seafarer? Who's that one by?
Yeah. Let me look. Hold on. I have to open my.
Because I was going to say, Dimitar, he's not in an emo phase. It's his state of mind.
Lindy Faye Hellas.
Oh, I'll have to give them a listen to. Yeah, exactly. Sprinkles, the Dragon Cat says, when Among Crows playlist. It's like, when do we get the playlist?
It's on Spotify right now.
Hell yeah. You just look it up, everyone.
Yeah. I'm Veronica Roth on Spotify, which will not surprise
And you make these playlists public like that?
Some of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's Allah's song?
Oh, what is hers? Hold on. Let me look at it. I don't know if I had one for her. Maybe this is the problem.
You need your song. Oh, I got really into it just now. I'm sorry. I yelled.
I liked it. I don't have one for her.
All right. So putting it out there right now, by the end of this interview, we're going to have Allah's song. So if you've read the book and you're vibing with Allah, get a song, submit it into us, and we'll lock that in. How exciting. I wanted to talk a little bit more about researching the Slavic mythology, something that you'd said, which I thought was hilarious, because it's always great being a woman when you learn these sorts of things. When you go back in history, it gets worse and worse. But you were saying that it can be a little misogynistic. And a lot of the times the women who are scorned and turn into these monsters, it's because they've had shitty things happen to them. But the men on the whole are usually kind of fine. It's always a woman who's been left behind, or a woman who's been hurt, or a woman who's suffering. What else did you learn about the Slavic mythology that kind of drove that pattern that you saw?
Well, I mean, a lot of the creatures are women, and they're all similar. You know, they're vengeful, bitter, trying to trick you, trying to take things from you. Sometimes they've lost a child. Sometimes they have like been promiscuous. You know, just they're being like punished in life, and then something even worse happens to them afterward.
That's so fun.
And yeah, I know. And there's a quote that I like about folklore, which just kind of, Natalie Kononenko is the person who, I can't quote it, but I'll tell you. That's who said it. But she talks about how from folklore, you can kind of understand like how a people see humanity and see the world and see, you know, life basically. So when you look at Slavic folklore, you can kind of see how hard it was in certain parts of the world to survive, for one thing. And then, you know, something about maybe how they saw women, which is, you know, would be very typical of a lot of people in history. And, you know, as we change it now, like you can add to folklore right now. So this folklore can be an expression of like where we're at now. And so I thought, you know, I want this society to be matriarchal. I want it to be like mostly populated with women. I thought that would be fun. Of course, 2 of the leads are men. So, you know, I don't know. I gotta wrestle with that, but yeah.
I was going to bring up the fact that this is heavily about the matriarch of that family, especially, and we see women in a very different light. I don't want to spoil too much, but if you haven't read it, give me 30 seconds to get this one out, starting now. Demeter's mother never wanted to be a mother. And I thought the deconstruction of motherhood was really well done in this book, and to learn about her as a character, especially, where it was an expectation that being in the order of the knights, you had to procreate to create more knights. And that was obviously in a biological fashion left to women to do, but it was a duty to her, not something that she necessarily wanted. And we see the implication of a lack of motherhood to children, and how those children now drastically see the world differently, not having a loving mother figure, or even kind of in a way father figure as well. What was it like with that family dynamic and exploring that?
Well, I think, you know, you try to give characters something that you can understand about them, you know, even if they're bad, evil people, you know, I want to be able to kind of identify. And I think a lot of women can identify with being treated like a walking uterus, a lot of cisgendered women, I should say. And I think, you know, being told that that's like, it doesn't matter what else you do, that is your primary value, is really damaging. And, you know, I think I wanted to give Demeter's mother that, just as something that you can understand about her. You know, she does her duty and she's still in this cult, but she's not gonna like, her primary value as a knight is that she's like one of the best there ever was. But of course she still had to have these 3 children, right?
Had to.
So I don't know.
It is interesting. There's also the curse bearer, and I want to talk about the name of this. When did you establish that this book series would be about this book of curses?
I don't know. The book of curses. Are you talking about like the literal book of curses, like that we see?
And the fact that Demeter is now the curse bearer, and that is his sworn duty.
So that appeared from nowhere.
Cool.
I was writing the scene. where I don't want to spoil it. It's like hard to talk around spoilers with this series, but they go back into like one of his memories. There's a lot of memories throughout the story, so that's not a spoiler. But there's a memory of his grandmother giving him this book. And as I was writing it, this book of curses and this idea of him being the curse bearer appeared. And I think it was just wanting to like put a thread of connection between him and Allah that was more concrete than him just randomly like happening upon her or hearing about her plight or, being involved in the curse that, she's afflicted with. So I think I just wanted, I don't know, to give him this like solid connection to her.
In a title as well. Did you learn about particular curses? Because going through this book, it feels like you're a changed person with every page you turn.
No, I mean, I don't know much about particular curses, although there are some like really great. Okay, I shouldn't have brought it up because I can't access my notes from here and don't know where it is. But there are some good curses in Slavic folklore that are just, tremendously unfair.
Okay, cool.
As usual. Yeah.
I have, confession, never ever constructed a voodoo doll. I have not done that. I didn't go down that path yet.
Yeah, no, me either.
Yet. There's still time. I could have a really bad day still.
Never say never.
Never say never. Yeah. Aim high. Katie also follows up with the question, how do you feel when people talk about Nico and Dim? Their surprise romance, I really enjoyed it.
Oh man, I'm so glad. So that surprised me too. So I wrote this whole rough draft without them getting together. Mm-hmm. I just didn't have any romance at all. It certainly wasn't developing between Dimitar and Allah. That is a sibling bond, if I've ever seen one. But it felt like I was pulling them apart for no reason. I think part of it is that like I'm such a romantic in some ways that I was like, well, can they make out if they've only known each other for 24 hours? And it was like, Veronica, yeah.
Yeah.
I have been, in my defense, I have been married for 14 years.
And
so I think I just forgot,
You've also never been a man kissing another man. So,
yes, that is true. Although I think, really, we're all human at the end of the day. So.
Yeah, I'm all for, we have merch with Moore's Book Club that says let them smooch. So
yeah,
we're all for a little smooch happening here. I agree with you though. The surprise of it kind of blossoming in front of my eyes. I was like, oh, this is exciting. This is nice. And of course it is explored more and it's a very, very sweet thing to deal with, especially because Dimitar is such a sad boy. So this like hope blossoming in front of him is really, I find it to be quite beautiful. If that didn't make the first draft, what was the changing point for you?
Well, I redid a bunch for the second draft. Like it grew by a lot of words. It had a more defined structure. So I don't know if I think it was more Allah and Dimitar focused. Like Nico was there and he wasn't developed. I wasn't like letting his personality appear as much. So I think mostly like it was just Allah and Dimitar like on their same trajectory, where he kind of tells her what his mission really is and they find that connection. But, with rough drafts, I often find that they feel a little empty. They're just not built well enough. And they just don't have like this crackly, lively feeling to them. And so once I let Nico appear on the page a little more, like that's what happened. The story became lively, which was exciting. That's what you want.
And he's quite an intense character who's super confident as well, with his own cross to bear, which I think is really quite beautiful. Like everyone's sort of suffering and the version of what suffering looks like is vastly different between the three of them, but they've all got their own shit, more trauma bonding.
This is like it.
This is therapy. Okay, I'm getting it. Vaden says the world in the Curse Bearer series feels like it has such depth in only a couple of novellas. How do you see the series expanding in the future?
Well, there's some things that have come up, just randomly while writing that I'm like, oh, what's that about? So I think, first of all, we've got the Dybbuk. Like, yes. We need to see him again.
Yeah.
And there's a kind of cheeky mention of Monstervilles, which is where like a bunch of creatures have like descended on a town in the Midwest. and they've taken it over to stay safe from the Knights of the Holy Order, which feels like, of course they would do that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, we need to know more about that. There's all these other mythologies and folklores to learn about. So I don't know, it could just keep going forever.
Also, so one of the curses that the order has is that they can summon this flock. I'm going to say flock as the collective noun of vampires to do thy bidding and to create sort of a wave of destruction. In their own mind, how do they not think that that's not purely evil? I'm just summoning some vampires. Ooh, it's not even that bad.
Their ends justify the means kind of people. They're using magic because they're mad that these other magical creatures exist. I mean, it's like hypocrisy of the highest order. So,
got it. Yep. I've not seen hypocrisy happening at all ever in the world. So
me never.
I'm glad that you've used it. Jay Buntrock says a book about the Baba Yaga would be great. What was it like making Baba Yaga westernized, Americanized? I love the fact that what was one of her mythology points was she had chicken legs or something like that.
She lives on a house on chicken legs.
On chicken legs.
And in the book, she lives on top of a Harold's chicken, guys. It's the best joke I've ever written.
It's a great show.
Thank you.
Baba Yaga, we've seen many different sort of iterations. What is it about yours that you adore?
I love that she is changeable. So she, I think in Declutter Razor is where this is. She takes off a scarf and takes off her youth. So she can be old and new, and she describes kind of shoving time behind her, behind a door, to become her younger self. So I think the fluidity of her age is the part that was most exciting to me writing her. I mean, it's hard to do anything new with her, but you have to make sure that she's just as kind of cruel and tricky and manipulative as in the folklore. I think that's how you stay true to Baba Yaga.
With a sprinkling of empathy, which I found really beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's such a backstory there. There's a lot to explore. Oh my God.
Vaden also says in the Cursed Bearer series, there's a consistent theme of the feelings of creatures being used for power and nourishment. Why did you choose to use emotions to embody magic and the supernatural?
Oh, yeah. So all of the creatures eat a different emotion, usually a negative emotion. I think it just came from the idea of all these creatures almost resembling vampires. What can they feed on, that isn't blood? Because I'm not interested, and I love vampires, classic and otherwise. But for me, it just, they needed to be distinct from each other, in what they pursue. And there's just so much opportunity for humor with the emotions. The banshees, eat sorrow and they go to college Mike nights. I just, you got to make your own fun.
And the fact that you give them such delicious flavors as well that are so distinct and unique to the person as well. Really well done. And I also like the fact that they're eating all of the negative emotions instead of sucking out the happiness to leave people despaired. I also thought that was a nice sort of thing because it means that if I were to have, oh no, wait, you're doing it so that the Striga provoke anger out of you so that you stay mad.
Yeah, there's kind of different philosophies here at work. So the Striga are we want all the different flavors of anger that we can get. So we're going to provoke people to get it, But the banshees are wiser. They're no, there's enough sorrow in the world already. We don't need to do anything at all. It will come to us. And so I think, those are kind of the extremes and everyone else is more in between.
Okay. Vaden also asked, I love the series, the inspiration of Slavic folklore for the Cursed Bearer series. I would love to learn more about those stories. What sources did you use? Where did you research?
So what I did, so there's a bit of a problem, which is that a lot of the research you can do on Slavic folklore is in Polish, or Russian, or any of those languages. It just isn't translated into English as often. Russian folklore is probably the most common that you can find translated into English. But what I did is I looked up anyone who did a Slavic studies like any Slavic studies departments in universities across the country who put their syllabus online.
Oh.
So I just looked at their reading lists and then I bought like a pile of books, usually used on Amazon, because that was, they're like textbooks basically. But a good starting point is the book Slavic Folklore by Natalie Kononenko, which I referred to earlier. But yeah, I just have like all these big old, sorry, they're behind this monitor, so I'm looking at them to remember what they're all like. But yeah, I mean, there's just like kind of collections, textbooks. I found a lot kind of online that I would translate using Google Translate, which is imperfect.
Yeah.
But it does the job. So you have to be persistent. But in JSTOR.
Oh, okay.
JSTOR is free.
This is going to sound like a dumb question, and I apologize for that in advance. One of the research you found out about the strigo is that they have 2 rows of teeth. Do owls have teeth?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either. So like, how did that, my brain was just like, oh, I'm going to think about this for the next half an hour.
Well, they're supposed to have 2 souls. So in my in my interpretation, I'm like, okay, well, there's the human part and then there's the owl part. But I don't think they have 2 rows of teeth. Like not in my books. Yeah.
Okay. But the fact that the strigo have 2 souls is what prompted you to think about a person having half of a soul.
Yes, yeah. So I was like, interesting that you would identify a creature with 2 souls as being a monster. Like, what kind of perspective would give you that? Like, what would give you that feeling about a twice-souled being? Wouldn't that be like an extra good being? So
you would think.
Yeah, you'd think so, but maybe it's just like too much. It's unnatural, right? So the knights are obviously like, no, deprivation is holy. So split that soul in half.
Would you call also half soul people, and I'm speaking from personal experience, is that just called depression?
No,
okay.
No, that's like sociopathy, no?
Okay. Thank you. That makes me feel better. Wow, I'm cured.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that. Jay Rock has a question as well, saying, do you have any plans or desires to ever revisit the world of the Divergent series?
Well, I mean, if the right idea came along, sure. It's not like I haven't tried, to think about how to do that, because I had so many readers that were so enthusiastic. They still are. People still find the books now. They send me direct messages telling me I'm halfway through Allegiant, and I go, oh God.
Oh.
Godspeed.
Is there a support group?
Have to be. There should be a support group.
Online support group for the end of Allegiant for those people that don't understand that shit can go down.
Yeah. But no, it would have to be the right idea. And I'm just waiting to see if that happens.
So the door's not shut is what I'm hearing.
I feel like every time I've shut a door, I've been forced to pry it back open. Like, I think I remember saying, I'm not going to ever do a retelling, And then I wrote a retelling of Antigone called Arch Conspirator. So I don't want to have to eat my words. So no shut doors, but I don't know.
We didn't mention
I don't know the future.
We didn't mention it earlier, and that's probably because I was doing you a favor. But the way that British and Australians say Oedipus is apparently really, that look. I get that look every time. And I didn't realize until way too late what it really sounds like I'm saying.
Well, it's all right.
If that's what you're into, no judgment. No judgment here. Speaking of the Divergent series, what was it like? Because I had a not even close, but somewhat of a similar trajectory where I had success early in my career and quite a lot of it. And you look back in that time and knowing that you were equipped only with what you had at that time, give yourself a lot of grace. But how was it experiencing so much success so quickly? Because you wrote these books when you were in college. The publishing deal came quite quickly. The movies were made actually quite quickly. And I heard you say that, you took a beat to be like, this is such a unique opportunity. It might not happen again. And that you were grateful that it did happen. 14 years down the track, what was it like for you back then to experience that level and having our paths meet in the junket circuit?
Well, I think when you posted that shot of us, my immediate reaction was anxiety because I was just like, I hope that you met me on a good day.
I had a good day. It was a good day.
Yeah, not because I would ever have been rude to you, because I don't think that was something that I did unless someone was really rude to me, like
did you shut them down?
Crazy. But yeah, but even then I'm very Midwestern polite, but it's not that I thought I had been rude, but I was just like, what if I was in a panic? Like I don't, so a lot of times when I think back to those years, I feel a little sad, not because anything that happened was sad, but because my state of being was just like not that healthy. I was just so anxious all the time. And luckily it like drove me to go to therapy and to get on medication and to take good care of myself. So I'm really grateful for it. But it's kind of like a haze of panic when I look back. And I wish I was able to kind of like appreciate the wondrous parts of it a little better. Although I think I did that plenty, but it was hard. I was too young to be, and I really don't like attention. So I think that was hard. I was not built for it. I don't think anyone is really.
They built that entire, like, you were a part of the junket circuit. You were the face of everything. Like, it was really, but you would, it was such a standout achievement as well at that time. And I can sort of recognize that when you make a bar that high, not only for yourself, but when it's recognized and that bar goes even higher as well, you're like, fuck, I've just started and I have to keep clearing a bar this high. Like, that's not fair. That's not fair.
And you have to give up on it. Because after, like, first of all, books just that doesn't happen to books. Like, it was so crazy, and a very special moment in time where YA was exploding and dystopia was exploding, and there was the Hunger Games, and then it was like, a few bigger ones, and Divergent was one of them. And so I just feel it's unlikely to ever occur again, and it can't be the measure that you use to measure your success or your like creative development, because it's just unreasonable. It's just. So you have to let it go, and you have to find other definitions of what success means and, what gives your work worth. And that's been hard, but I feel that I've arrived there, some figuring things out along the way, but yeah.
Proud of you.
Therapy. Yeah.
So much. And grace and, kind of realizing introspection and hindsight, hell of a drug, honestly.
Yeah.
I did start off by saying that I wanted you to have the wrath of Roth, and if you could get angry about the industry or the dark side of books, what would you vent about and why? Well, I followed that up by saying, and why is it the disdain of social media? But I don't want to answer for you.
No, I think I have a pretty healthy relationship with social media. I just I don't pressure myself to respond to things quickly. I think that's like a huge thing. People will make you feel like there's deep urgency about things that really are not urgent. Like, it's okay to take your time and think things through, is my social media advice, unsolicited. But my anger at the industry, I think, if I have to rant, it's not about me. I feel like I've gotten a lot of support and a lot of second chances after things maybe didn't go the way people hoped they would. But I have a lot of friends who are mid-list authors, and the sales track makes me angry. So the sales track is like, you sell a book, it comes out, it performs however it performs, and then the publisher uses its performance to kind of quantify how much you deserve to get paid for your subsequent book. But if the publisher doesn't support your initial book,
then you never had a chance.
Sell well. Yeah, so you are being like, you can't control that, and then you're being held accountable for its sales when actually you do not have the ability to help your book sell well. And it maybe has nothing to do with the quality of the work you've produced. So this makes me very upset to see, friends be told like, oh, well, your last one was a disappointment. It's like, well, you only got me into like 100 Barnes and Nobles across the country. So
you didn't give me a chance.
How was I supposed to do well, So that's my rant. I don't like the sales track. It doesn't really affect me personally, but it sucks.
It sucks. And the fact that every author also has to be their own marketing department, and that means sort of getting involved in social media to push the book as well. It's really hard. I am not a writer for many reasons, and I feel like that is one of them. The other one is that it has to be good. And I just don't, that's tough, you know. But the thing that I do love, and I just saw RF Kuang do this gorgeous whiteboard demonstration on how all of her books can all be pinned back to her love of How to Train a Dragon. And for you, your aha writing moment was Animorphs? Animorphs?
Oh, Animorphs. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Do you know about Animorphs?
Huge in Australia. Every cover was the most effed up, slowly devolving into the horse face. Who was the moth? Wasn't there a moth? And you're just like,
there was a moth.
That's a bad day. Oh no. Yeah.
Oh my God, I love them so much. But those books are so dark. So yes, they're like formative for me.
Yeah.
They're just so messed up. I love them.
There's also a throwaway line in When Among Crows that one of my club members wanted to highlight, and it was mentioning cane toads.
Yes.
Oh my God, why did your eyes just light up?
Because do you know this documentary?
Is it the one where they rolled a ping pong ball past a cane toad and it jumped on it, tried to fuck it, realized when it couldn't, it ate it?
Yes. And the one with the little girl who's like petting this giant. Yep. And there's okay, I'm a huge fan of this filmmaker specifically. I've watched a bunch of his movies, but The Cane Toads is like a cult favorite. And it's like a horror movie, the way that it's put together.
Yeah,
it's so great.
So I grew up in the region where cane toads exist, and I'm so afraid of them because of this documentary where it's like, the cane toad has no natural predator. Like, I had a dog try to eat a cane toad. It got really, really sick. And so I was
they have like little poison glands and stuff.
They do. And this brain is like, all right, evolution, I give it maybe 40,000 years, but these cane toads are going to get bigger and bigger. And these poison sacs are going to be like Blastoise, the Pokemon that has the jet cannons coming out. Like, we're fucked. Australia is fucked. And I had to leave. I left the country because of cane toads. And I want to stand on that. Sorry, Australia, but you have a cane toad problem and they're not okay. And how dare you, Veronica, bring it up in your book? Like...
I mean, it is presented as a horror.
Yes!
So I feel, that should give me some points.
No, you did very well with that. Yeah, that was very
active aggression.
Yeah, you read that. I was like, well, no.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad that you also know the horrors of the cane toad as well. Keep It Up says, what? Everything in Australia is a predator, but they won't go after cane toads? Okay, now I see the issue. There it is. They have recently discovered, oh, Veronica, you'll love this. There is a water rat species that has learned over time to knock a cane toad over and eat its intestines out. So it has trial and errored, right? That the poisonous glands on the back are no-go. So they will bulldoze the cane toad over and start attacking the vital organs in the stomach. And that's the only natural predator the cane toad has had thus far. Shout out to water rats.
Nature seeks a balance. Water rat. But then what are we going to do about the water rats? Oh, I guess other things eat them. See, the circle of life.
We finally got there.
Balance is restored.
Thank God I can sleep. Oh my God, we may have cured my insomnia as well in this.
Yeah, there you go. See, this is a therapy session. You thought it was a book club.
No, we're healed. To one last final question. Jeff is a Chicago, what do you call it?
Chicagoan?
Chicagoan somewhere.
Yes.
Jeff wants to know, what is your favorite pizza topping?
Oh, I only eat cheese pizza. Am I the worst?
No.
I like sausage every now and then.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, I say.
Yeah.
Tested, tried, and true. Fantastic. On that note, we are wrapping things up here today. I do have both the gorgeous books in my hand right here. From today, we are launching a giveaway. On the Discord, if you join there right now and click it, you can win both of these books, 5 lots, US only, I'm afraid, but the giveaway is happening today. So make sure you win a copy if you haven't bought already for this Q&A. Vaden said, I thought all book clubs were secretly therapy sessions.
That's profound. Yes.
You're not wrong. I have a slogan with the book club, and that is, we all read the same words, but we hear a different story. and getting everyone's different perspectives on the same text it's really quite beautiful. It surely is something.
It is lovely. The power of literature.
Right?
That sounds like a joke, but I mean it.
If we all read more books, we'll all be better off.
I mean, for sure we will.
What's a book that everyone should read this year that's your suggestion?
Oh my gosh. Of course, like all the books I've ever read have left my brain.
Oh, I love
Salt
that.
Scrap. Salt Scrap by Yume Katase came out yesterday.
You've read it?
She's great. No, not yet. So I'm excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Occult still goes on record to say that Dungeons and Dragons is secretly therapy too.
Oh yeah. I mean, really, like getting together with people in the flesh and doing something you love together. Is that not therapeutic?
That's healing right there. Veronica, thank you so much for joining me for the last hour to chat about.
Thanks for having me.
Not only
Reunion.
Again, I know. So I'll pencil you in for 10 years' time.
Okay, great.
We'll just
both
do this.
be blonde by then. 'Cause,
Probably.
You know, I've gone through like 6 hair colors since we saw each other.
I
And I'm
have
back.
noticed many of them, but you've kept it short this whole time. Don't tempt me. I'll do it. I just don't have much hair.
No, mine is the same. Are we living the same life?
You're doing
This is like the 5th thing we have in common.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. You're doing a better job of it than I am.
No.
Take the compliment. Take it.
I mean, thanks, but I don't want to take a compliment that's at your expense. See? Therapy.
Hey, we've done it again. We just keep growing. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Make sure you join the Discord, enter the competition, buy all of Veronica's books. There's so many of them. She's kept writing across the years, and well done, you. Keep it up. Keep it up, only if you love it. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. We'll see you next time. You're watching Maude's Book Club.